Hello, and welcome live here to the Racing Hotspot Season Finale 2014 edition. I am going to be your host tonight, Devin Poslusny, as we are going to get right into things by taking a look at our full season recap. From everything from weekend roundup to interviews to our live event season. So let's get right into things. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 2014 studio. Guess what, guys? It's the first one of the year. Welcome back.
Waiting for the restart box. We're green. So welcome live here to the Racing Hotspot post-race show. We just came from up on top, so we only have 24 minutes left on our battery, so let's try not to run it out. I know it is one of the weird out there. All right, now over to the Mandalay car post racing to deal. All right, well, sorry that we're laughing. AJ just so we're now live here. So I can't see the screen. My. Okay. There we go.
Watch out.
Kevin Ward Jr. is 20 years old. We'll have more on this during Racing Hotspot Week around 8/10/14. May all of our hearts and our prayers go to the Ward family. Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, alongside Dave Poslusny, as we are outside in the freezing cold. That's a little true. It's a little dirty. Well, here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, recording Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup, September 14th, 2014 edition. Here we go. Okay, so now to the U.S. Legends Car pre-post, middle, I don't know what it's called, pre-race show with probably the three goofiest clowns in the Legends Car garage. Taylor's taking the most offense of that. These guys are like, oh yeah, well, been called worse.
That's a great video that just recaps the 2014 season for us. So this is going to be a quick show, or quick talking show for me. along with the recaps. But this season took Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup up to another level. Even though for some of the shows I didn't have my sidekick Dave with me. But being that in 2015 Dave will be back with us full time, the possibilities are endless. But for this, we're recapping 2014. So 2014 brought us from the inside the studio to trackside at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, to Florida, and beyond. So let's take a look at a quick couple-minute recap of Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup from 2014. Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. Guess what, guys? It's the first one of the year. Welcome back here to Season 3.
Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, alongside Dave Poslusny, as
Hello,
we
everybody.
are outside, in the freezing cold.
It's a little chilly. It's
A little
not
nippy.
freezing cold.
Well, here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Now to the Formula One segment here to bring in our Racing Hotspot Formula One analyst now, Peter Long. How are you doing today, Peter?
I am doing awesome on this beautiful day.
Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, as we are live here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am... There we go. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, alongside with a guest co-host this week, my grandmother, lead financial executive, no, I'm kidding, Diana Hinton. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fine, thanks.
Welcome live here to Racing Hotspot Weekend Roundup. I am your host, Devin Poslusny, alongside my guest co-host, Kristen Poslusny. So now, let's head out to Dave and I, for At the Track Review. Devin?
Hello everybody and welcome live here to Racing Hotspot NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Post-Race Edition. I'm your host Devin Poslusny alongside Dave Poslusny.
Hello, everybody.
You see that 2014 really did bring Racing Hotspot places with Weekend Roundup everywhere from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, starting in July when we decided let's be live there, and then a couple months later in September we had a stage and we were set up. It was an amazing time for us this past season. And then in Florida we had the big TV in our villa, so we were inside and we had the plasma screen. It was an amazing time. I had my mom on for some shows, had my grandmother on for a couple shows, and then we brought in our cameraman, or as Dave and I call him now, the Godfather, on full time this season. But looking ahead to 2015, we'll get to that a little later. So now we're going to talk about something that's not really going to be a video recap. But this past season we had Racing Hotspot Points Championship upgrades. We went from 2 players to 6. Sorry. And the intensity got bigger. And we knew it was going to be an intense season when all of our players, the top 4 players, tied after the Sprint Unlimited. Then we had to have a tiebreaker, which had never happened in Racing Hotspot Points Championship history. And then after that, it got even crazier. Halfway through the season, we added the chase format. We added the Rookie of the Year Championship. I am going to quickly look up the results of all that. My grandfather, the Godfather, Arthur, he won the overall championship. Even after us here at Racing Hotspot threw the curveball of the chase. The chase championship, of course, was different and new, but it did tighten up things as Kristen went from 6th place to 2nd or 3rd in a matter of 1 race because of her wins. So Google Docs is loading up. Excuse me. Get the Points Championship results for you and the Rookie of the Year Championship. In 2015, we'll wait till we recap 2015, or look ahead to 2015. All right, Points Championship standings. I lost track of the overall without chase standings, so those were gone. But the Rookie of the Year race, Kristen won with 66 points. Trooper was in 2nd. Trooper was in 2nd with 55. Art was in 3rd with 51. And Joe was in 4th with 31. And now, the overall championship. Going into Homestead, Kristen had a 1-point lead over Art as they can. And going into Phoenix, they had a 1-point lead, but they got equal amount of points. So they advanced equally, going into Homestead with 1 point apart. At the end of Homestead, Art led Kristen by 6 points. And he had, I believe, it was Art who won the Homestead race. Oh no. Trooper did. So Trooper actually passed our past champion, our 2-time champion, Dave, in that last race. So here's the overall standings. Art won the championship. Congratulations, Art. You'll be back next season, and we're all afraid. Kristen finished 2nd, 6 points back. Then, I finished 3rd, 44 points back. Joe finished 4th, 62 points back. Trooper finished 5th, 68 points back. And our 2-time champion, not this year though, to add on, last season, the season before, Dave Poslusny, he finished 6th with 71 points. This past season for the Racing Hotspot live event season took our live event season up to a whole new level by going to a total of 5 new racing venues. Most of them up here, which they included Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Thompson, Connecticut, Lee USA Speedway in Lee, New Hampshire, Devil's Bowl Speedway in West Haven, Vermont, and Urbandale Speedway in Winter Haven, Florida. On top of all that, we went to the same old track that brought us your 2013 live event season, but this past season in 2014, we went to this track a lot more to cover some bigger stuff. New Hampshire Motor Speedway was home to our final ACT race, our only K&N Pro Series race, and our final covered modified race. As well as that, we got our typical U.S. Legends car racing, including brand new camera angles, brand new interviews, and brand new friends. At the end of the season, our last event was the 24 Hours of Lemons, which, if you weren't there, our video did not do justice. When we pulled into the 24 Hours of Lemons, you heard the cars on the track, but you didn't know that there was as many as they were. From the sound, there were a lot more than what you thought. But that's because the cars you heard were the ones that were having troubles. So now, let's take a quick look at our 2014 Racing Hotspot live event season.
The 2014 Racing Hotspot live event season got off on a different foot than in past seasons. We went to a new track and covered a brand new series to us. After we went to Thompson, we went to Lee USA Speedway and covered yet another new series to us, the American Canadian Tour. After Lee, we took a couple weeks off, and then returned to a Racing Hotspot favorite, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Since New Hampshire Motor Speedway was our home for most of our live event season of 2013, we decided to ramp up our coverage at NHMS by adding different camera angles, including 2 brand new GoPros. In June, we made another stop to a brand new racetrack, Devil's Bowl Speedway in West Haven, Vermont. That was the home to our second ACT race of the year. In July, we made a big splash by covering the 2014 Wheelin' All-Star Shootout at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Then, later on in that day, we covered the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East Grant State 100. In August, we had a big-time first for Racing Hotspot. We covered our first ever night race by covering the U.S. Legends cars at Barbandale Speedway in Florida. As our season started to come to a close, us here at Racing Hotspot decided to end the season with a bang. In September, we went back to New Hampshire Motor Speedway to cover NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, and then the ACT Bond Auto Parts Invitational. In October, we ran our final lap. We covered mostly U.S. Legends cars, but there was one event that was, I believe, our last event of the year, which was the 24 Hours of Lemons, which, by the way, we will have coverage of come 2015. As we look back on our 2014 Racing Hotspot live event season, we realize that this season was probably one of the best live event seasons in Racing Hotspot history. But as we continue to plan out 2015 live event season, we are going to blow the 2014 season away with what we have planned for 2015.
That was a great season, and I truly look forward to 2015. Some of our races for 2015... Actually, we'll talk about that when we get to 2015. I am just teasing you guys. So, last segment of the night. Interviews. Now, typically on an award show or a season finale, you wouldn't really cover interviews. You'd just be like, interviews is part of the business. Well, when we were planning this show, last year we usually just said we had a good live event season, good weekend roundup, congrats Dave, here's your award, have a nice night. Well, this year we wanted to add some to it. And when you look at our interview column, we had an amazing year. We interviewed about, I'd say 20 to 30 people. Maybe 15 to 20, sorry. But it was a wide variety. And the number one interview that we had was the Larry McReynolds and Mike Joy interviews. Those were tied for number one. Reason being is because it was Mike Joy and Larry McReynolds. They are two major icons in the sport of NASCAR. And they gave me the time, out of their busy schedules in September, to do two quick interviews. The time of the two interviews combined was 15 minutes. So Mike and Larry, if you are watching this, I do thank you so much for giving us the time for those interviews. Let's take a look at our 2014 interviews recap. I'm here with Brian Hoare. You won the Spring Green 114. You started 12th, and we were covering the race, like commentating. And where did you come from? Like, I told you said at 12th.
So I'm now with first place winner, Sean Buffington. No, I'm kidding. I'm now with third place finisher, Taylor Martin. Second time we've done an interview together, so we're a little bit more comfortable. It's Sean and Tom, they're weird. Okay, so now to the U.S. Legends Car pre-race show with probably the three goofiest clowns in the Legends Car garage. Taylor's taking the most offense of that. These guys are like, oh yeah, well, been called worse.
Just like 3 world champions.
Actually.
Okay, so I decide I'm going to hand it over to a fellow driver. Taylor Martin's going to do the interview, so here we go.
Finishing second this week was Sean Buffington. How did it feel finishing second to Tom Gray?
Well, you know as well as I do, Taylor. It's no fun at all.
So welcome live here to the Racing Hotspot post-race show. We just came from up on top, so thank you for sending that down to us. We only have 24 minutes left on our battery, so let's try not to run it out. I know this one weirdo here can shoot.
This is supposed to be funny, right?
Okay, so now I'm with third place finish. Okay, Tom Gray. All right, thank you, Devin.
Finishing in first was Tom Gray. How did it feel to finally take down Sean Buffington?
It felt good. The problem is, we got to do that more often, and you can't start a win streak. Yeah, until you win one. So obviously, I've started one. Now I got to continue.
Hello, everybody, and welcome live here to the the Bond Auto Parts ACT Invitational pre-race show. I'm your host, Devin Poslusny, and we'll start right off with our first guest, Miss Emily Packard, how are you this morning?
I'm good. A little chilly, but it's starting to warm up a little bit, so. Good.
All right.
After he hit me and stuffed me in the wall in turn 2, I said, well, he must have wrecked some crap and he's going to go backwards, talk with Taylor a little bit, and then they're both going to come after me.
I'm now live here in International Speedway. Wow.
Welcome to Daytona International Speedway.
Daytona International Speedway with Andrew Gertz.
So I'm now with Larry McReynolds. Still really excited that I'm interviewing you. So I am now here with probably legendary Mike Joy. How are you doing today?
Great. Beautiful day. Nice crowd. Going to be a great modified race this afternoon, and we can see who runs well enough to get the pole.
Really a great season when you just look at the interviews alone. At the beginning of this season, I had said to you guys, as far as live events, we were going to have post-race interviews. And when I said it at first, I was like, okay, easy enough to do. Wasn't so easy. But I stuck through with my commitment to you guys, and that gave us a bunch of new interviews, lengthened our post-race coverage, and also gave us a bunch of new best friends. Bunch of new friends. And strengthened some friendships that we already had. So now, I've been teasing about this all night. Let's look ahead to 2015. 2015 has a lot in store for us. What exactly? I can't tell you. No, literally, I cannot tell you because I really don't know. But 2014 is the building block for the 2015 season. And every time we have another season, it's another block on the pyramid, if you get my drift. So season 1 was, alright, we covered 1 or 2 races. Season 2 started covering a lot more legends. Season 3, this past season, we expanded our horizons even more. Late models, modifieds, dirt cars, legends cars, out-of-state legends cars, everything. And now, looking ahead to 2015, our live event season is going to increase by that much. We're going to have more events. But as far as interviews, we're going to have more interviews. We're already working on interviews with other people. Drivers. NASCAR drivers. TV personalities. General managers of tracks. We're going to expand our live events season and interviews by so much. Our at NASCAR weekend coverage is going to expand that much more. This year, for September, we had a stage. That's a big jump from July when we were just standing in the back of my dad's pickup truck with a microphone. Now, we have a stage where we bring in the table. In 2015, we'll have more to it. We'll have sound systems. So this way, when you're at the track, you're able to hear what we're saying. We'll have events. Friday night, we're looking at like corn toss challenges, competitions. Saturday, we'll have live music. It's just ideas, by the way. Where our at-track coverage is expanding so much, we are looking seriously into a trailer for our show. I'm not saying one of these trailers, but that's a NASCAR big rig I'm not saying one of those at all, but we're expanding that much. Our weekend roundup coverage will stay the same mostly. It will increase little by little, but our weekend roundup coverage from New Hampshire Motor Speedway will increase. We already got it planned. Points Championship. We have a couple more people already interested in signing up. Now, we'd love to open it up to the public, but we can't because there really is no good way to. You haven't figured that out yet. We're working on it. We are fixing our our technical issues. Hopefully, maybe next season we can go tech problem free. Probably not possible. As far as 2015, well, our coverage is going to expand even more. It'll be another building block on top of our existing 2013-14 season. So we'd like to thank you for joining us here tonight for our Racing Hotspot Live, Racing Hotspot 2014 season finale. And now, we're in our off season. We're done. Until January 24th, when the green flag drops. Hold on, I want to just check that date. We'll have preseason Thunder coverage early January. Not sure if it's going to be the video like we did this past season, or if it's going to be recap online. But our video coverage, weekend roundup, will not return until January 25th. After the checkered flag falls on the 24 Hours of Daytona Rolex 24-hour race at Daytona. And after that, we'll have a couple weeks off until February 15th for Sprint Unlimited coverage. But until we see each other in a couple short weeks, believe it or not, everyone here at Racing Hotspot would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But until we see each other then, in January, have a good night, everybody, and goodbye.